सरस्वती जय शुभदायिनी वरदायिनी।
जय 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 माता सरस्वती जय शुभदायिनी वरदायिनी।
तू ही दुर्गा तू ही काली,
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 तू ही माता पार्वती,
तू ही मातावती,
सकल जगत की पावन करनी,
सकल जगत के पालन करनी।
विद्या बुद्धि दायिनी जय शुभदायिनी वरदायिनी। जय 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 माता सरस्वती जय शुभदायिनी वरदायिनी।
जय 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 माता सरस्वती जय शुभदायिनी वरदायिनी।
ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश शेष सब,
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 तेरे ही गुणगान करें,
तेरे ही गुणगान करें।
हम सबका कल्याण करो माँ,
हम सबका कल्याण करो माँ।
विद्या बुद्धि दायिनी जय शुभदायिनी वरदायिनी। जय 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 माता सरस्वती जय शुभदायिनी वरदायिनी।
जय 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 माता सरस्वती जय शुभदायिनी वरदायिनी।
जय 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 माता सरस्वती जय शुभदायिनी वरदायिनी।
जय 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 माता सरस्वती जय शुभदायिनी वरदायिनी।
जय 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 माता सरस्वती जय शुभदायिनी वरदायिनी।
जय 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 माता सरस्वती जय शुभदायिनी वरदायिनी।
हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोप बाला, गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोप बाला, गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली नाद लोला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोप बाला, गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हे गोपी गोपाला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे मुरली गान लोला।
गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोपाला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला।
हे गिरिधर गोपाला हे गिरिधर गोपाल हे गिरिधर गोपाला।
हे गिरिधर गोपाला हे गिरिधर गोपाला। हे गिरिधर गोपाला।
राधा गिरिधर गोपाला राधा गिरिधर गोपाला। राधा गिरिधर गोपाला।
राधा गिरिधर गोपाला। राधा गिरिधर गोपाला। राधा गिरिधर गोपाला।
गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोपबाला। गोविंद हर हरे हे मुरली गान लोला।
गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोपाला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला।
गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोपबाला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला।
गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोपाला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला।
हे गिरिधर गोपाला हे गिरिधर गोपाला। हे गिरिधर गोपाला।
हे गिरिधर गोपाला। हे गिरिधर गोपाला। हे गिरिधर गोपाला।
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला।
जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला। जय जय गिरिधर गोपाला।
गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोपाला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे
गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोपाला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला।
गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोपाला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला।
गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोपाला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला।
हे मुरली गान लोला।
हे मुरली गान लोला।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम बिना बेरा पार नहीं,
सीताराम बिना बेरा पार नहीं,
सीताराम बिना बेरा पार नहीं,
सीताराम बिना बेरा पार नहीं।
राधे श्याम बिना सुख सपना नहीं,
राधे श्याम बिना सुख सपना नहीं,
राधे श्याम बिना सुख सपना नहीं।
राधे श्याम बिना सुख सपना नहीं।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम बिना दुख कौन हरे,
सीताराम बिना दुख कौन हरे।
सीताराम बिना दुख कौन हरे।
राम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम बिना बेरा पार नहीं,
सीताराम बिना बेरा पार नहीं,
सीताराम बिना बेरा पार नहीं।
सीताराम बिना बेरा पार नहीं।
राधे श्याम बिना उधार नहीं,
राधे श्याम बिना उधार नहीं,
राधे श्याम बिना उधार नहीं।
राधे श्याम बिना उधार नहीं।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो, सीताराम कहो, राधे श्याम कहो।
भजमन नारायण नारायण नारायण, भजमन नारायण नारायण नारायण।
भजमन नारायण नारायण नारायण, भजमन नारायण
नारायण नारायण नारायण
स्वामी नारायण 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 स्वामी नारायण नारायण नारायण
लक्ष्मी नारायण 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 लक्ष्मी नारायण नारायण नारायण
लक्ष्मी नारायण 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 लक्ष्मी नारायण नारायण नारायण
हरि ओम नारायण 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 हरि ओम नारायण नारायण नारायण
हरि ओम नारायण 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 हरि ओम नारायण नारायण नारायण
भगवन नारायण 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 भगवन नारायण नारायण नारायण
भगवान नारायण 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 भगवान नारायण नारायण नारायण
सीताराम कहो राधे श्याम कहो सीताराम कहो राधे श्याम कहो
सीताराम कहो राधे श्याम कहो सीताराम कहो राधे श्याम कहो
सीताराम कहो राधे श्याम कहो सीताराम कहो राधे श्याम कहो
सीताराम कहो राधे श्याम कहो
सीताराम कहो राधे श्याम कहो
मेघ नन्हा सा मेघ छोटा सा बच्चा हूँ तुम हो बड़े बलवान प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो मेघ नन्हा सा मेघ छोटा सा बच्चा हूँ तुम हो बड़े बलवान प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो मेघ नन्हा सा मैंने सुना है तुम ही यहाँ पर लाखों के दुख डाले मेरा भी दुख डालो तो समझो चक्र सुदर्शन वाले मैंने सुना है तुमने यहाँ पर लाखों के दुख डाले मेरा भी दुख डालो तो समझो चक्र सुदर्शन वाले मेघ नन्हा सा मेघ छोटा
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
रुम झुम नाचो गोपाला
रुम झुम नाचो गोपाला
रुम झुम नाचो गोपाला
रुम झुम नाचो गोपाला
जय नाचो गोपाला
जय नाचो गोपाला
जय नाचो गोपाला
जय नाचो गोपाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
रुम झुम नाचो गोपाला
रुम झुम नाचो गोपाला
रुम झुम नाचो गोपाला
रुम झुम नाचो गोपाला
जय नाचो गोपाला
जय नाचो गोपाला
जय नाचो गोपाला
जय नाचो गोपाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
गोपाल गोपाल नाचो गोपाला
नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला
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 नाचो नाचो जय नंदलाला मुरली बजाई रे जमुना की तीर मुरली बजाई रे जमुना की तीर जमुना की तीर हो जमुना की तीर जमुना की तीर हो जमुना की तीर मुरली बजाई रे जमुना की तीर मुरली बजाई रे जमुना की तीर जमुना की तीर हो जमुना की तीर जमुना की तीर हो जमुना
बोलिए श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। बोलिए श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। बोलिए श्री पावन पुत्र हनुमान की जय। This morning, devotees, I do apologize to those of you who are joining us virtually. We did have some technical problems at the start. For some reason, the computer was not connecting to the internet here. But with Akshar and Yato expertise, we got it figured out, and we're able to join with everyone virtually as well in this morning's service. So, Jai Jai Sitaram to everyone. And this morning, just as we are resuming our full puja, we're still trying to figure out, for those who are making offerings at home, how to engage everyone at the same time. But for those who are wanting to make offerings at home, and you have your murti, and you do have preparations being made, just after we do our small opening pratana, we will engage with you in that offering, after which we will do our small katha this morning. So this time I ask that we all clasp our hands, we close our eyes, we bow our heads, as we approach that Supreme Lord in the form of Maryada Purushottam Prabhu Shri Ram. As we ask His grace and blessings this morning, we ask you, Lord, to bless our intellect, our minds, as we receive this divine knowledge. We ask you, Prabhu, may we be able to remember, to understand, and eventually to put into practice these wonderful teachings of yours. Hari Om. Shri Ganeshaye Namaha. Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Shri Guru Charan Kamale Bhyo Namo Namaha. Ramaya Ram Bhadraya Ramchandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Neelambhuj Shamal Komalangam Sita Samaropit Vam Bhagam Pano Mahasayak Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanchanatham Ado Ramatapo Banari Gamanam Hatva Mrigam Kanchanam Vaidehi Haranam Jatayu Maranam Sugriva Sambhashanam Bali Nigrahanam Samudra Taranam Lankapuri Dahanam Paschat Ravan Kumbhakaran Haranam Etadhi Ramayanam. Ramayan Sumiran. Jehi Sumirat Siddhi Ho Ganinayak Kari Varabhadana Karu Anugraha So Budhirashi Shubha Guna Sadana Mukha Hoi Vacha Pangu Charhe Giri Varadahana Jasu Kripa द्रवो सकल कलिमल दहना नीला सरोरुहस्यां तरुण अरुण बारी जनयना सुमम उर्धान सदा क्षीर सागर शयना कुंदेन्दु समदे कुमार मन करुणायना जाहि दीन परने करो कृपा मर्दन नयना बंदाव गुरु पद का कृपा सिंधु नर रूप हरे महामोह तम जासु बचन रवि करा सियापति राम चंद्र जी की जय शरणम। बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। So at this time, devotees, those who are wanting to make offerings at home, we'll engage in this offering with you. So those of us who are here at the mandir, in our minds, we do mansik offering along with those who are making their offerings at home. So if you do have flowers, please take a flower in your hand. We clasp our hands, we close our eyes, we bow our heads. We focus at the feet of Shri Krishna Bhagavan for a few moments as we seek his presence and blessings. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanur Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanur Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bolo Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Firstly, we offer water. Om Narayanam Namastastu Narakadnavatarakam Padyam Grihan Devesh Trailokyam Timirapaham Shri Krishna Bhagavan Argyam Paryam Snanam Samarpayami. We offer Chandan. Om Shri Khand Chandanang Divyam Gandadhyo Samanoharam Vilepanam Surishreshtan Chandanang Prati Grihyatam. We offer flower. Om Malyadini Sugandheni Malyatari Vai Prabhu Maihritani Pujartam Pushpani Pratigrihitam Shri Krishna Bhagavan Pushpam Samarpayami. We offer the essence. Om Gandham Grihan Devesh Deva Deva Dayanidhi Tvameva Jagatam Natistva Tvameva Jagatam Prabhu. We offer a deep light arti. Om Sajang Javarti Sanyuktam Vahanina Yujitam Maya Deepam Grihan Devesh Trailokyam Timirapaham. Bolo Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. If you prepared a Naivedya, Prasad, you can hold it in your hands at this time. Firstly, passing the water around it 3 times. Om Mandakinyastu Yadvari Sarva Papaharam Shubham Taridam Kalpitam Devam Samyagya Achmanyatvam Tvaya. We all pray now in our own words to Shri Krishna Bhagavan, asking him to accept our Naivedya, Prasad, and to shower his blessings. Om Gritpakvang Vishainam Payasham Chasharakara Nana Vidhan Naivedyam Shri Krishna Bhagavan Naivedyam Samarpayami. Boliye Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Touch the prasad to your murti, touch to your head, reciting Shri Krishna Arpanam. If you have flowers, tulsi leaf, you can offer it to Shri Krishna while reciting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We now offer water. Om Sarva Papaharam Devam Gangeyam Nirmalam Jalam Achmanyam Chamaya Dattam Grihan Parameshwaram Shri Krishna Bhagavan Achmanyam Samarpayami. If you prepared Dakshina, you can offer it at this time. Om Nakpal Supal Maulavi Vanditangri Yugala Prabhu Hari Dakshinang Prade Shri Krishna Bhagavan Danam Dakshinaye Samarpayami. Bolo Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. So at the end we'll engage in our Havan together. At this time we move on to our Katha from the pages of Sri Ramcharitamanas, and we've been perusing this Katha relating to Garudji and Kakbhusundaji for the past few months. And we took a break for the last 2 weeks, I believe, to engage in our Navaratri celebration. And now we return where Kakbhusundaji is explaining to Garud the power of illusion, the power of Maya. And he is trying to pound that point home to all of us, not just to Garud, but to all of us, that who is there who has not been fooled by this Maya? Who is there who has not been overcome by Maya at times? That we allow the material things around us to become the be-all and end-all of our existence. And we fail to see beyond. We fail to see beyond it. There's none in this world except self-realized saints who are not controlled by illusion. We are all, susceptible, vulnerable to this illusion. Most of the times. The only time that we are not susceptible and vulnerable is when we are dedicating our minds towards God. The moment our mind moves away from God, then what happens? Now illusion can take over. And, we make follies sometimes. We do foolish things sometimes because of illusion, because of Maya. And Kakbhusundaji is trying to bring us all to that realization, to understand how, because of illusion, we act in so many different ways. We do so many different things. And he continues this morning. Let us hear in Chopai. कीत मनोरथ दारु शरीरा जेहि न लाग धुन को अस धीरा जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय रघुपति राघव राजा राम जय रघुपति राघव
राजा
सुत बीत लोक ईश नीति केहि कई मति इन्ह कृत न मलिनी जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय रघुपति राघव राजा राम जय रघुपति राघव राजा राम जय रघुपति राघव राजा राम. Kalpasundar ji continues to say, Kita manorat daru sharira, jehi na lag dhun ko asadhira. He says, desire is like that wood lice, in Trinidad. We talk about wood lice. Most people long ago used to have the wooden houses before the concrete became popular. And in those houses, inevitably you used to get the wood lice. It's a type of insect that eats and feeds upon the wood and turns it into powder. So he's saying that desire is like that wood lice, that insect desire. And the body is like the wood. And the desire eats away at the minds of those who identify with the sharir, the body. Who think this body is them, that I am this body. And everything that relates to this body is mine. How many of us think this? How many of us think like this? This kurta is mine. But the kurta is related to the body, isn't it? This mala is mine. This book is mine. And this is how we think. Commonly, this is how we think, right? This is not, any fantasy. This is reality. This is how we are. This is how mind works. The mind gravitates to the body. And then desire becomes like that insect, that wood lice, that infects us and causes mass destruction. Mass destruction. Now the desire for what? Desire for more and more material things. So we have X, we want more than that. We want more than this. And we continue more and more and more and more, eventually spending our whole life gathering only material things, not thinking of anything else. Not thinking of anything else. Only material things. And that desire will cause us to work and work and work, to acquire more and more material things, only to realize at the end of life, what are all of these things worth to me? Zero. Zero. Is it a wise investment? Is it a wise investment that we're making to put all our time into this? Or should we divide our time? Again, I must explain myself. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have. Because many people go away with that idea, Pandit Vijay don't want me to have. No, we should have. We should work, we should have, we should be comfortable. But also recognize that there's another side, there's another aspect of life that we need to look after. And most people, they don't think of this aspect of life. They don't have any regard for this aspect of life, which is the spiritual part of life, where we do our spiritual activity. We build that spiritual bank account of what we call selfless activities. Activities that will eventually free us from the cycle of birth and death. But most of us devotees, we fall into that trap of desire after desire after desire after desire. And our life becomes consumed by simply fulfilling desires. Think in your mind and tell me if this is not true. Tell me if this is not true. Vandana, is that true? Our minds work like this. Because one desire is completed, then another one comes. Isn't it? Isn't this how it works? And then another one comes. Seemingly endless amount of desires. So Garuji is explaining this to us. Desires like that wood lice, that insect that comes to cause mass destruction to those who identify with the body, who think the body is them. He says, Sutabita loka ishanitini kehikai mati inha kritana malini. He says, whose mind has not been affected by these three types of passions. So he lists three different types of passions. Maybe we may have been affected by 2, 1, or 3. We do not know. Right? But these are the ones that he has listed for us. One is the desire for children, the desire for family, to have a family. 2, the desire for wealth, for possessions, material possessions. 3, the desire for name and fame, to be popular, to be recognized. These 3 desires he has listed. Kagbhusundaji, who has not been affected by these 3 desires? We'd like to have a family, we'd like to have children, we'd like to have some wealth, material possessions, and we want to be recognized also. Name, fame, popularity. But devotees understanding that all of these are temporary. All of these are temporary situations. So we do not spend our whole time just searching and longing and yearning for these things. We understand, yes, it's nice to have. But how much wealth we really need? How much money we really need? Satisfy our needs? When the money we're looking for is to satisfy the wants, is different. Money to satisfy the needs is different. Money to satisfy the wants is different. And then, we look for recognition, we look for name, fame, popularity. I want to be the most known. I want to be the most popular. I want to have the most friends. Children today go through a lot of difficulty in school. You listen to them, and they talk about, I have no friends. I'm being bullied in school. Children go through this. But if they only understand, and it's hard for a child, but we as parents have to give that guidance to them, that it doesn't matter if one person like you, if 10 people like you, if 20 people like you, or if nobody likes you. At the end of the day, you do not rely on any of them for your existence. I used to always tell my children, you didn't go to school to make friends. You go to school to learn. So your primary purpose of going to school, listen to the teacher, do your work. Eat your lunch, come home. You don't have to worry about friends. Friends nice to have, but what are the friends doing for you? Are they leading you in the right direction? Are they leading you in the wrong direction? But we feel this need. We feel this desire to be wanted. We feel this desire to be recognized. We feel this desire to be popular. And Kagbhu Sundarji is giving us this information so that we can arm ourselves to realize if we are falling into these traps, if we are falling into these situations that we can avoid these situations in our lives. And devotees, he goes on to say, let us hear in Chaupai.
यहाँ सब माया कर परिवारा, प्रबल अमित को बर न पारा। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय। शिव चतुरानन, शिव चतुरानन जाहि देराहि। अपर जीव के ही लेखे माहि। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम।
Kagbhu Sundarji goes on to say, Yahan sab maya kar parivara. He says, this is all Maya's family. See all these qualities, all these desires, these all Maya family. Anybody named Maya? These are all Maya's family. So once we get involved with all of this, it sort of controls our life. Our life becomes encompassed by all of this. He says, Prabal amit ko barne para. He says, Prabal. It means infinite amount of qualities, infinite amount of desires will consume us. Once we get involved with Maya and her family. Infinite. He says, Prabala amitiko baranai para. It means that we can't even describe how much in words. How many different qualities, how many different desires. Each person is different, right? Not everyone is the same. It affects us in different ways. Causes us to behave in different ways. Then he says, Shiva Chaturanan Jahi Derahi. He says, even Lord Shiva, even Chaturanan, even Brahmaji, even them, they fall prey to illusion. Even they stand in reverence to Maya because they recognize the power of Maya. He says, Aparajiv kehi lekhe mahi. He says, then who are regular people? You and I. Who are we to stand before the power of Maya? Who are we to withstand the power of Maya devotees? And we understand that battle every day, even though we are hearing it. Even though we are hearing it, even though we know it, we still fall prey, isn't it? We still fall prey in our day-to-day activities. It still controls us in our day-to-day activities. Even though we know it, we know better, but it seems that we can't do better, even though we know it. And devotees, Kaghbu Sundarji goes on to say, let us hear in Doha.
व्यापे रहे ओ संसार महो माया कतक प्रचंड माया कतक प्रचंड सेनापति कामादिभत दंभत पत आखंड सियापति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम.
He says, Vyapi raheyu sansar mahu Maya Kataka Prachand. He says this formidable army, this very strong, powerful army of illusion spread over the whole world. Spread over the whole world. Nowhere we can go, devotees, we can hide from illusion, is it? Not even when we're sleeping. Not even when we're sleeping. Because when we're sleeping, we have nightmares too. We have bad dreams. Not even when we're sleeping can we hide from Maya. You can try, go in our closet and see. It's not going to happen. Maya is perusing inside of us, not only outside. So he's saying that this formidable, this strong army spread over the entire world. He says, Senapati Kamari Bhata. That the Senapati, the leader of the army of illusion, is lust. Lust, Kamadi. This is number one. Right? Lust can be applied in many, many different aspects of life. Not just one. Many, many different aspects of life. Lust spreads its control over people. Along with it comes the friends of lust, anger and greed. Lust, anger, greed. And he says, Dambha kapat pakhand. That hypocrisy, deceit, and all those other negative tendencies and qualities. These are all part of the army of illusion. Now, devotees, we have to understand what is being said here to us. Every time we practice one of these qualities, you know what we're doing? We're inviting illusion to have more power in our lives. Anytime we become angry, we're saying, illusion, come. Welcome, doormat. Come, have more power in my life. We practice greed, illusion, come. We practice lust, we practice hypocrisy, deceit. All these things, devotees. We are inviting that Maya to have more and more power over us. How can we transcend? How can we overcome, devotees? How can we overcome? And devotees, in this next Doha, Kaghbu Sundarji gives us the answer. We all know the answer, but let us hear. what he says.
सोनासी रघुबीर के रामा समझे नित्या सोपी च्यूतन राम कृपा बिनु रामा नाथ कहाओ पर रोपी सिया पति राम चंद्र जी की जय शरणम उमापति महादेव की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय वृंदावन कृष्ण चंद्र की जय ओरेसा जगन्नाथ की जय बोलो रे भाई सब संतन की जय सियापति रामचंद्र की जय शरणम.
So, Kagbusundar ji says, So dasi raghubir ke. Illusion is the das, the servant of Prabhu Shri Ram, of the Supreme Lord. We've heard this already, right? Any of us didn't hear that? We heard this. Illusion is the maidservant of Prabhu Shri Ram. Samujhe mitya shopi. And if we understand the nature of illusion, we understand the nature of Maya, we understand that it's not our reality. We understand that. So again, we all know this. We all know that all of this is temporary. All the attachments that we have in this world, all the bonds that we have in this world, they're all temporary, isn't it? Anything is permanent? No, nothing is permanent. So we understand the transient and temporary nature when we understand Maya. And he says, Chutan Ram Kripa Binu, Nat Kahal Pararupi. He says there is no release from the grip of Maya unless you get Ram Kripa, unless you get the grace and blessings of Maryada Purushottam Prabhu Shri Ram. Boli Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai. So exactly what I said, everybody knows the answer. Everybody knows this, isn't it? Anybody didn't hear this before? We all heard this before. But yet still what happens? Yet still illusion takes us over, isn't it? Yes. Yet still illusion takes us over. Yet still we will, just this morning we have a discussion coming in the car that we'll choose a different kind of music over bhajan. Because of what? What bhajan will remind us of? When we sing the bhajan, when we listen to the bhajan, what it will remind us of? Not Bhagwan? Yes? And when we play other kind of music, what it reminds us of? We're going to specifics. Reminds us of illusion. Reminds us of Maya. Gives Maya more power. Right? So you see how we are deliberately hurting ourselves. We're deliberately pushing ourselves backwards rather than allowing ourselves to move forward because we are falling prey to all these traps. We are falling prey to all these traps. As we say, the vishay of the world, the poisons of the world, which seems to be very, very attractive, very nice. There is no release from the grip of Maya except by the grace of Prabhu, except by the grace of the Lord. He says, "This I say from my heart," and he vouches for the truth of this statement. Boli Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ke Jai. Kakbhusundji is self-realized soul, a self-realized devotee. He is telling us this is the truth. And in our hearts, I'm sure we all know that this is the truth. Just we need to act on it. We need to make changes as such to reflect the knowledge that we have. But what happens, devotees? Maya is so powerful. Maya is so powerful. As soon as, while Katha is going on, while Rama is going on, yes. I'm going to make these changes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Once Katha done, what happened? Illusion come and take over again. And we go back to square one. Not in Mississauga. Sometimes go square zero. You know what I mean? We go back to the start, where we started our journey. And we seem to be having no progress because we keep retracting and going back. We need to develop that strength, that inner strength to fight and to move against the grain, move against the current, as we would say, and do something positive for ourselves on a daily basis. On a daily basis, devotees. It's important that we do it on a daily basis. Why? Because if we miss one day, what happens? Spiritual power decrease, Maya power increase. Then they have more control, more and more control over our lives, devotees. Before we perform our Havan, we go to that one who's very, very dear and near to Maryana Purushottam, Prabhu Shri Ram. Pawanputra Hanumanji, whose incarnation we celebrated yesterday. And we asked that Hanumanji to be our protector. We asked that Hanumanji to remove that dukkha. He's called Dukkha Bhanjan, that one who is remover of distresses. We seek that protection and that blessing from Pawanputra. मेरे सुन लो मारुति नंदन, का तो मेरे दुख के बंधन, हे महावीर बजरंगी, तुम कहते हैं दुख भंजन। मेरे सुन लो मारुति नंदन, का तो मेरे दुख के बंधन, हे महावीर बजरंगी,
तुम कहते हैं दुख भंजन।
मुझ पर भी करुणा करना, मैं आया शरण तिहारी, मैं जोड़े हाथ करा हूँ, तेरे दर का बना भिखारी, तुम सबसे बड़े भंडारी, मैं पानी तुम हो चंदन, हे महावीर बजरंगी, तुम कहते हैं दुख भंजन। सुन लो मारुति नंदन, का तो मेरे दुख के बंधन, हे महावीर बजरंगी,
तुम कहते हैं दुख भंजन।
तेरा नाम बड़ा दुनिया में, सब तेरा ही गुण गाए। इस जग से सब नर नारी चरणों में शीश नवाए। कर भाव से पार मुझे भी, हे बाबा संकट मोचन। हे महावीर बजरंगी, तुम कहते हैं दुख भंजन। मेरे सुन लो मारुति नंदन।
तो मेरे दुख के बंधन, हे महावीर बजरंगी, तुम कहते हैं दुख भंजन।
मैंने तेरी आश लगाई, बाबा हनुमान गोसाई। जब भीड़ पड़ी भक्तों पे, तूने ही करे सहाय। वीरान करे है दुहाई, प्रभु दीजो मोहे दर्शन। हे महावीर बजरंगी, तुम कहते हैं दुख भंजन। मेरी सुन लो मारुति नंदन, काटो मेरे दुख के बंधन। हे महावीर बजरंगी, हे महावीर बजरंगी, तुम कहते हैं दुख भंजन। तुम कहते हैं दुख भंजन, तुम कहते हैं दुख भंजन। बोलो पावन पुत्र हनुमान के जय। Devotees, one thought we should all try to have in our lives, that before we do anything, before we even think anything, we should think about what we're thinking. That sounds funny, right? We should think about what we're going to think. Because every thought results in a action. That's the source of the action. It begins with a thought. So we have to beware of our thoughts, right? So we have to think about even what we are thinking. Our thoughts, our words, our actions. These are the three things that comprise our life. Our thoughts, our words, our actions. So we have to analyze. Are my thoughts driven by wanting to be closer to God? Or are my thoughts driven by ego? Are my words driven by wanting to be closer to God? Or are my words driven by ego? Are my actions driven by wanting to be closer to God? Or are my actions being driven by ego? If we can maintain this thought in our head, maintain this discipline of analyzing before we think, before we speak, before we act. Not all the time we'll be able to do it. But if we practice, we'll get better. We do a little bit. We try to maintain that presence of mind as much as we can to improve the quality of our own lives. Holy Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai. So this time, devotees, we'll engage in Havan together. So those who are performing Havan at home, please sit before your Havan Kund. We invite the presence of Agni Devta, so you can light the fire while we chant this mantra. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, Dhayuriva Bhumna Prithvi Varimna, Tasya Aste Prithvi Devaya Janim, पृष्टि अग्निम अनादम अनादयादधि। बोलिए श्री अग्नि देवता की जय। Pass the water around the fire. Om Mandakinyastu yadvari sarva papaharam shubham Taridam kalapitam devam samyagya Achmanyatvam tvayayatihe Achmanyam samarpayami. We begin making our offerings at the recitation of Swaha, also reciting Swaha as we offer. Om Shri Ganesh Devtabhyo Namah Swaha. Om Ganganapataye Namah Swaha. Om Ganganapataye Namah Swaha. Om Shri Gauri Mataye Namah Swaha. Om Shri Shankar Bhagavan Bhyo Namah Swaha. Om Shri Agni Devtabhyo Namah Swaha. Om Shri Kalash Devtabhyo Namah Swaha. Om Shri Varun Devtabhyo Namah Swaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Mataye Namah Swaha. Om Shri Mahavishnu Bhagavan Bhyo Namah Swaha. Om Namo Narayanaye Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Bhashkaraya Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Chandraya Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Bhaumaya Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Buddhaya Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Guruve Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Shukraya Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Shanishcharaya Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Rahave Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Ketave Bhyo Namah Swaha. Om Shri Pranaya Bhyo Namah Swaha. Om Shri Apanaya Bhyo Namah Swaha. Om Shri Samanaya Bhyo Namah Swaha. Om Shri Indriyaya Bhyo Namah Swaha. Om Shri Udanikaya Bhyo Namah Swaha. Om Shri Ishtadevta Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Kuldevta Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Sthan Devta Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Gram Devta Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Mata Pita Charan Kamle Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Shantiko Devta Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Panchapal Devta Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Das Dikpal Devta Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Adi Shakti Durga Mataye Namah Swaha. Shri Rundhati Devi Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Bhadrakali Devi Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Santoshini Devi Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Rudrani Devi Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Brahmani Devi Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Parameshwari Devi Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Ambike Devi Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Chandike Devi Bhyo Namah Swaha. Om Aim Saraswati Mataye Namah Swaha. Om Shri Krishna Bhagavan Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Hanumate Devta Bhyo Namah Swaha. We join together as we chant Brahma Gayatri Mantra, 10 more offerings. Om Bhurabhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhemahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurabhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhemahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurabhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhemahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Mahamrityunjay Mantra. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Eva Vandanam Mrityor Mukshyamamritat Swaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Eva Vandanam Mrityor Mukshyamamritat Swaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Eva Vandanam Mrityor Mukshyamamritat Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Swaha. One more. Om Shri Sarva Devata Devyo Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Sarva Devata Devyo Bhyo Namah Swaha. Shri Sarva Devata Devyo Bhyo Namah Swaha. We prepare now for final offering. May we all stand as we take part in the final offering today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnata Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Sarvam Vai Purnagvam Swaha. Boli Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Pass the water around the fire. Om Sarva Papaharam Devam Gangeyam Nirmalam Jalam Achmanyam Chamaya Dattam Grihana Parameshwaram. Take blessings from the fire. And now we engage in our final arti, Shri Ram Arti. Om Sajang Chavarti Sanyuktam Vahaninayojitam Maya Deepam Grihan Devesh Trailokyam Temirapaham. Aarati ki jai Shri Raghuvar ki Dashrath Nandan Sitavar ki Aarati ki jai. Aarati ki jai Shri Raghuvar ki
दशरथ नंदन सीतावर की आरती की जय.
Ram Ramaya Antaryami Maryada Purushottam Swami Ram Namami Ram Namami Ram Namami
राम नमामि
सुर मुनि रक्षक करुणा कर की आरती की जय. आरती की जय श्री रघुवर की दशरथ नंदन सीतावर की.
आरती की जय.
जगपति सुरपति दीन दयाला दुख भय भंजन हे सुख पाला. हे जगवंदित रघुवर लाला. हे जगवंदित
रघुवर लाला
सतचित आनंद शिव सुंदर की आरती की जय. आरती की जय श्री रघुवर की दशरथ नंदन सीतावर की.
आरती की जय.
संग विराजे जानकी माई आरे संग में तीनों भाई अद्भुत शोभा बरनी न जाए, अद्भुत शोभा बरनी न जाए। विश्व विधाता प्रभु सुखवर की आरती की जय, आरती की जय। श्री रघुवर की
दशरथ नंदन सीतावर की आरती की जय।
सगुण रूप प्रगति अविनाशी, मंगलमय प्रभु शुभ सुख राशि। कर दर्शन कति लाख 84, कर दर्शन कति
लाख 84।
शरणागत वत्सल ईश्वर की आरती की जय, आरती की जय। श्री रघुवर की दशरथ नंदन सीतावर की आरती की जय, आरती की जय, आरती की जय। बोली श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। So at this time, devotees, if you have flowers, please take a flower in your hand. We all clasp our hands, we close our eyes, we bow our heads. As we join in our final prarthana, we give gratitude and thanks to our Prabhu, our Lord and Master, for affording us this opportunity this morning to join together in devotion. We ask that the Lord continue to guide, protect, to bless each and every one of us as we understand and as we know to ourselves that without His grace and His mercy and His blessings, there is no escape from this illusion for us, devotees. If we want to free ourselves, we must seek the grace and blessings of the Lord as much as we can. As we remember in our day, we engage in those activities that would lead us to freedom from illusion. Let us all pray together. Hari Om Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janardanam Yat Pujitam Mama Deva Devi Paripuranam Tarastu Me Om Avahanam न जानami Visarjanam Pujam Chaiva न जानami Kshamyatam Parameshwaram Tvameva Mata Shapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Shasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. He Sarva Shaktiman Sachidanand Nirakar Nirvikar Sarva Adhar सर्वेश्वर सर्वव्यापक अंतर्यामी अजर अमर नित्य पवित्र सृष्टिकर्ता को बारंबार नमस्कार है। हे परमात्मा, भविष्य वर्तमान दुखियों का कष्ट हरण करके सुबुद्धि को प्रकाश कर कि जिससे सबका मंगल होए। ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम। As we close today's devotion, once more, we reach out to the feet of Pawan Putra Hanumanji, asking His grace and mercy to be upon us. Jai Jai Jai
हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो महाराज। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो महाराज। तन में तुम्हारे शक्ति विराजे, मन भक्ति से भीना। तन में तुम्हारे शक्ति विराजे,
मन भक्ति से बिना।
जो जन तुम्हारे शरण में आए, जो जन तुम्हारे
शरण में आए,
दुख दरिद्र हर लेना हनुमत।
दुख दरिद्र हर लेना।
महावीर प्रभु हम दुखियन को, महावीर प्रभु
हम दुखियन को,
तुम्हारो गरीबन निवाज हनुमत। तुम्हारो गरीबन निवाज हनुमत। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो महाराज। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई
कृपा करो महाराज।
जय हनुमान जय हनुमान जय हनुमान जय हनुमान जय हनुमान जय हनुमान
जय हनुमान जय हनुमान
जय हनुमान जय हनुमान जय हनुमान जय हनुमान जय हनुमान जय हनुमान कृपा करो महाराज। बोले श्री रामचंद्र की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, वृंदावन कृष्ण चंद्र की जय, ओरेसा जगन्नाथ की जय। बोलो रे भाई सब संतन की जय, सियापति रामचंद्र की जय। बोलिए श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। जय जय सीताराम। प्रेम से आसन लीजिए। प्लीज हैव योर सीट्स devotees. This brings us to the end of today's devotion. We're very, very happy for all who've joined us in person as well as those who have joined us online despite the little technical difficulties that we had earlier. And we do hope that, today's devotion has brought some benefits to all of us. That we take away something, some devotion, some feeling, some knowledge that we can practice and put into our lives. Have a very blessed couple of days. We'll meet again on Tuesday, 6:30, 7? Okay. So 7 p.m. on Tuesday for our devotion to Lord Ganesha for Shri Ganesh Chaturthi for this month. And again, those who would like to make offerings at home
And for Lord Ganesh, you can feel free to prepare yourselves and make offerings along with us during that time. And services will continue. Now it will be a little bit of a quiet period. Our regular services or Lord Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations until July, when our Ramayana Yagya will be. So, but keep on joining with us, devotees, as we continue to serve the Lord through our devotions here and try to enrich the lives of anyone who would like to listen and be a part of services. So once more, God's choices, grace and blessings to each and everyone until Tuesday evening at 7. Jai Jai, Sita.